Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our portal, our little haven of practice for those of us who have scoliosis. Welcome back. So today we're going to be doing some poses on the floor, which is always actually very nice and relaxing, even though you're still going to be working quite hard into certain parts of the poses. But the first one we're going to do is the one that we normally do standing like this. We'll be holding onto the toe and stretching forwards. But we're going to do it using the gravity because that's what we actually need more for our practice. So make sure that you have some space against a wall. You know, I can't reiterate this enough. When you have scoliosis, it's always good to be able to have the feedback of the wall against the body. Okay, so always find some space against the wall because it always helps you to feel what the body is doing, to be in touch with what you're doing. Remember, our sense of center, our sense of anything is kind of a little bit skewed. So we have to work a little bit harder at finding that center and also integrating the muscles all throughout the body. So make sure you have some space against the wall. This is very useful right now. Once you find that space, okay, I want us to have at least just a few things. So these are the things that maybe you may have around your house. Actually, some of these things you won't have around your house, let's be fair. Okay. But it's good to invest in some of these things. I think yoga blocks are always very good to invest in. It's always good to have some yoga straps. And you can either use a blanket or a towel, actually, on your mat. So you want to fold it in a way where it's really nice and long. Okay. So when you fold it in a way that's nice and long, you need to make sure the bottom part is as close as what it can be to your sacrum. Okay. And once you get there, I want you to grab hold of belt number 1. So belt number 1, right, you're going to make it into a massive loop like this, a massive loop, because this is going to go over the leg. You're going to try and build some traction through the hips. Okay, so once you've got this loop, I want you to take that loop over the inner of the top of the right leg. Okay, so the right leg is currently in the loop. You're taking the bottom of that strap underneath of the left foot. And then you're pressing the left foot into the block. So make sure there's a block underneath of the left foot. You can have it a little bit slanted. I want you to make sure your second strap is close to you. So when you go to lie down, all right, okay, you want to straighten that left foot. You want to make sure the strap is taut underneath the foot. And then also here you want to stretch the right leg up. So once the right leg has gone up to the sky, that's quite hot, isn't it? Yeah, once the right leg has gone up, I want you to take the second strap, actually bend the knee, take the strap underneath of the foot, and you're just going to lift the foot up to the sky. Okay, and we'll just take a few nice deep breaths here, just getting used to this action. So notice that the right leg that's reaching up to the sky, there's a little bit of traction through the lower back. So this is, this is a nice one if you have left lumbar curve, because this one, it lengthens the lower back muscles, and that's a little bit of space there. Now what becomes important here, I want you to notice how your back feels. So with the back, right, the reason why we've folded up the towel underneath us is mainly so that we can tuck in the towel into the parts of the body, right, that doesn't have any feedback. Okay, so you're just pushing the towel. You can get some flannels here as well and push the towel into the parts of the body where you're not getting feedback of the breath. We'll take at least 10 nice deep breaths here. The entire time, I just want you to just stay still and stiff. I want you to notice if you need to adjust that left foot there on the floor. I want you to notice how much power you're putting into that left foot. So you want to feel the breath moving into the concavity. The breath becomes really important in terms of opening up that space that has become more atrophied. You just need to be able to find the space. Once you find the space, then you're able to start to build a little bit more strength there. So make sure you can feel the breath moving into the back of the body. Let the belly get big and large on the inhale breath. And then on the exhale breath, let the spine fall towards the mat as much as possible. While you're here, a lovely alternative to this is if you have a sandbag, like I have here, you can place the sandbag on that left leg and just allow for the heaviness of the leg to take over. You don't have to work as hard. Also making sure that the neck isn't tilting back. So the back of my blanket over here, I folded it a few times so I can draw the neck long. Remember, the neck is part of the spine as well. The back of the neck, really press it down. And then after you've taken a few breaths there, slowly bend into the right knee. That's it. Take the foot down. Good. And then as you take the strap away from the top of that leg, you can take a few breaths here, just relaxing. And just notice how much work that you just did. It seems really minor, it doesn't seem like you're doing that much. But the more you do these and the longer you do these, you'll start to notice little changes in the body. Remember, the aim of the game is to practice as often as what we can. Good, good. And then once you've taken a few breaths there in relaxation, okay, I just wanted to shift over to the other side. So with your left foot, just move that lumbar over to the right side. You're going to switch over the leg. So you're going to place the right foot into the strap. Okay. And then you're taking that loop over the left leg. Okay, so you're making sure the strap is right up at the top of the femur. The femur bone right there. As high as what you can get it anyway. That's why I'm saying the femur bone rather than the hip. Get it as much as what you can up there. Draw the knee into the chest. Take the strap underneath of the foot, balls of the foot, stretch the leg up to the sky. And here we have the second side. So you want to make sure that the strap is as taut as possible. So in pressing the foot away, you can feel the traction happening in that left hip. So this is a nice one if you have a thoracic curvature in the spine. Remember, and with all these instructions, if you have a left thoracic, it will just be the other way around for you. Instead of doing this for a right thoracic, you just do it for a left thoracic. So exactly the same thing. Yeah. Instead, with this particular leg that's going up, it would be the right leg that's going up for you. So once again, just allowing these breaths to be long. Make sure the back of the head is definitely supported. So drawing the cervical spine long, so the chin is almost trying to go in towards the chest, not in a violent way, it's in a gentle way of lengthening the back of the head. Press the sides of the neck down into the blanket. Keep the right foot as active as possible, pressing into that block. Notice where you start to lose the tension. We'll take 10 nice deep breaths here. Remember to notice also what's happening with your breath. So notice if the breath is going into the back of the body. Notice if you're getting feedback from the blanket or from the towel that you're using underneath the spine. And one of the things we need more than anything is the feedback. If that feedback isn't happening, readjust once again. So take the hands in towards the towel, in towards that blanket, and fit into those areas a little bit more so they feel a little bit full. Because when you breathe, you can actually feel something is happening there. Once again, an alternative to this is to place the sandbag on the front of that right hip. But we don't have to do as many things in a practice. This is not like a vinyasa where we're just flinging the limbs, enjoying the life. Hallelujah. This kind of practice is a little bit more focused. It's more focused, it's a little bit calmer in a way. It's urging you to use the breath a little bit deeper, but also to bring more focus into what we're trying to heal as well. Think about it not as cardiovascular exercise, but more as something to bring strength, space, openness, traction into the body. That's what we need more than anything, is that traction. So when you feel like you've been here long enough, you can slowly start to release. And when you're releasing, just bending into the left knee, take the foot down, release that strap. And then just allow the body to relax. Yeah, so remember here, there's another part of this pose, okay? So we'll switch over the legs once again. Let's take the left foot into the strap, shift the block over, that's it. Take the strap over that right knee and draw the knee into the chest. So even just from this particular bit, you can actually see that there's a lot happening here. There's quite a lot happening here, okay? Take the strap underneath of the right foot. As you take the strap underneath of the right foot, the option is to keep the knee bent if that feels good for you. Okay. We're just going to open up the leg. Open up the leg towards the right side. As you're doing this, I want you to feel what's happening in that right hip. Keep the left side long. Option here to reach the left arm over the head. Option to reach that left arm over the head as you continuously gain traction. Another option here is to stretch the right leg up to the sky. And then open up the leg towards the right side. So when you're opening up the leg to the right side, you want to make sure the outer hip is rolling out and down. So instead of sort of compensating for just opening up the leg and just being here somewhere, you can see my hip is lifted. Okay? So that's ruining the entire traction side, that lengthening side. Okay. What we want to do is keep the hip as much as what we can on the mat. Not the hip, the buttock. Make sure the left buttock is completely down. Keep stretching up that right leg. Slowly open up the right leg to the right side of the room, just as far as what you can feel the traction. Or if you want to go a little bit further, bend the elbow, take the elbow down onto the mat, but keep the legs moving away from each other. Just keep the balance. Maybe you'll keep the left hand on the hip, especially if you're opening up the entire leg. It's just the knee that opens, it feels a little bit different. But option to also reach that hand towards the back of the room if that feels good. So notice at the back, may not be touching the mats as much. So once again, I want you to use the pushing bit, the towel or the blanket to support the spine. When you're reaching the arm backwards, make sure that when you're breathing, it's possible for you to get that feedback once again. Good. And after about 5 to 6 breaths, slowly lift the leg up to the sky. An alternative here, for somebody who doesn't have as much flexibility, okay, is to have a bolster, some cushions on the outer right hip. Okay, just open up the leg. You can bend the knee, and you're just letting the knee rest on the lovely bolster there instead. So you can still feel that the left foot is absolutely active. You can still feel the traction in that right hip. This is also an option. Remember to keep the action happening in the spine, so that you can always feel the muscles of the spine as they're breathing in and breathing out, that nice harmonic movement, which you can always, you're always in contact with that. Remember to work a little bit harder, because as with everything, you can work a little bit harder. You can reach the left arm towards the back of the room. I also like to give the option here, if people wanted to reach both arms to the back of the room and have a block in between of the hands. There's quite a lot that you can do with these poses. Remember, you don't have to do like 10 poses. You can do maybe 3 poses in one practice, and that is totally enough for you. With each of the sides, I recommend to begin with maybe about 1.5 minutes or something like this. Maybe like 1.5 minutes, maybe even less. Do as much as what you can. Good. And then whenever you're ready, slowly release the arms. Draw the knee up to face the sky. Wherever you are, you're lifting the leg to face the sky. Slowly bending the knee, bringing the leg down. Then you're unhooking that leg once again. Just allow the body to start to settle into that new space that we found. The in-between stages are also really important here. The in-between stages and having the breaks like this. not running to go to the other side, just observing what's happening with that first side. And settle into that new space. Good. And then we'll gently switch over to the second side. So once again, take the foot into the strap. It's becoming quite exciting. We'll move the block over as far as what feels good. That's it. Or as much as what you have space. So you want to make sure that you have some good space to be able to do this. Now I have to move everything a little bit further out so I can get the space. Yeah, so remember, with that long strap over the left knee. Remember, you can move your bolster over to the second side. Yes, remember the first variation is we're taking the block underneath of the left foot. And we can just hold the inside of the strap as close as what we can to the foot and then just open up the knee. The option is to take this particular action. The option is to take this action. The option is also to lift the leg up to the sky. And we can open the leg over to the left side. Remember, you can bend the elbow and let the leg fall out a little bit more for those who have a little bit more flexibility. Or if you have the wall there for support, this is also grand. So good to have the wall for the support. That's it. Keep the right foot active as possible. Remember, your other alternative is just to bend the knee. Okay? So not particularly using the strap. Take the bolster or the cushions as close to the hip as possible. Open up the knee. You want to make sure the foot can definitely rest. Foot needs to rest more than the knee does actually with this one. Good. And then really start working into that right foot. Notice the outer hip, notice that traction within the inner groins. You also have the option here to stay as is and use it as a restorative or just working on this lower part of the body. But you can also use it as a means to find this space also into the convexity. Remember, the convexity, it's basically built up muscles, so we really need to get a lot of stretch happening there, a lot more spaciousness happening there, in a different kind of way to what we do on the concave side. To get more out of this, you can grab hold of a block. Do I have a block close there? No, I don't have a block close there. You can grab hold of a block, have the block in between of the arms, of the hands, and just keep reaching backwards. So you want to notice if your back is connected down onto the support. Okay? If it isn't, you want to make sure the blanket is underneath the back, as much as possible, and underneath of the head. Okay? Then you want to push into those concavities. Yeah, you want to push into those concavities so you can continuously feel the spine supported. Keep the right foot active. And with that right foot as well, you'll notice the big toe becomes quite important in what's happening there. So make sure the big toe of the right foot is pressing forwards into the block. You're reaching up as much as what you can through that left side. Remember to work as little or as much as what you want to work. Don't need to overdo it, especially first few classes, don't overdo it, take it nice and easy. Nice and easy. Maybe you're only here for a few seconds. Just notice what the body is able to do. And the body feels differently all the time, especially when you have scoliosis. Sometimes my lower back is a little bit angry. And sometimes it's my left shoulder that's angry. On the right thoracic and left lumbar. So these are little things that you have to take into account. You just feel that wonderful traction happening through that left hip. It feels so good. If you have a fused spine as well, or throughout the vertebra, this is also something that possibly you could actually do, but it's building up the amount of support you have underneath the spine. You just need to make sure you have as much support as is possible underneath the spine. And also underneath the beneath. So if you're doing this variation right now, you pile up a few more towels. Okay? Maybe have a footstool underneath the right foot. I may do another video for that one so you can see exactly what it is that you would do. And when you've been here for a little bit, okay, I want you to play with that right foot a little bit. When the foot is on the block, and the leg that's long, I want you to play a little bit with the foot. And notice when you engage the big toe and the little toe, what happens in the hip, the outer hip. Gets more of the traction if the big toe is engaged. When it's the little toe, it goes more into the groin. So notice this action here as well. The corresponding foot is doing. Good. And then whenever you're ready, if the leg is up, just draw the leg back to the center and remove that strap. If the knee is like mine, you slowly just draw the knee to the center, release that strap, stretch the legs down, start to relax into that newfound space. After relaxing, maybe take a longer relaxation here. I was going to go into after relaxing. Stay longer for as long as what you need. I will finish the video there for today. So notice how much work you did just in that traction with the lumbar spine, the traction also through the thoracic, but also in the hips. Just notice that hip action as well. Notice how much freer the hips may be you're currently feeling. I'll see you soon. Then you come back to visit the portal and get some more action for us who have scoliosis. All right, then, take care.